Welcome to another episode of Project Dirty Willy. In this episode, we have bolt-on horsepower. At least that's what the box says. This is everything that comes in the box. This kit completely replaces your factory air system. This actually comes with a whole new airbox assembly, a new filter, new air tube, all your fittings, and basically all of your nuts and bolts and washers and all that stuff to get the kit assembled. All right, our first step is going to be to remove the engine cover. Then we're going to remove these two 10mm bolts. Separate this hose from these little clamps here. Just get it out of the way for now. Then we're going to loosen the hose clamps at the airbox and at the throttle body. After we've done that, you should be able to separate your air hose from the throttle body. And your airbox. And then you need to unplug your air sensor here. Be really careful, there's not a whole lot of wire to work with here. Now that that's unplugged, you can get this out of here. Then you can remove this hose here at the front of your airbox. And your whole airbox assembly can just pop upward like that. And you've got the whole thing out. Okay, now it's time for some assembly of the new airbox system. I'm going to take the filter adapter, put on the inside, and line up the holes here. And you're going to take a 4mm Allen key and a couple of the 1/2" button head bolts and some of the flat washers. And then on the other side here, you need your little bracket. You're going to get it lined up with these tabs down towards the bottom. Up here is the top. Now we're going to take the factory airbox, flip it over, and we need to drill out these two rivets here. After you get those drilled out, you can pull this out of here. And then you're going to need to take your tape measure, and you're going to measure from the bottom here up 3 inches and mark on all the sides, and you're going to cut 3 inches of this off. Okay, now that we've got 3 inches cut off of your factory air scoop, line up the holes that are in your scoop from where you drilled out the rivets. Basically just slide this into place and line up those holes and bolt this to your new airbox. Okay, now we've got our factory air tube up here on the bench, and we're going to remove the air sensor. So you're going to turn it. And this can be really, really stiff, but you want to be really gentle with it. And pop the sensor out. And we're going to take the new air tube and install it into the air tube. If you notice, the sensor has a little prong sticking off to one side. You want to make sure that's lined up with this little indent on your new tube. And it looks like it just bends that fender washer a little bit and holds this in place. And then while you have your intake tube, your new intake tube, you want to take this barbed fitting that you get thread in to the other end of the tube. Now we need to install the rubber fittings. This tapered fitting here goes onto the elbow by the sensor. And then on the opposite side, you get this big double humped piece. You're also going to take your engine cover and these two pieces here. These are the little rubber retainers that hold it down. You'll want to remove these, and you get new extended ones in the kit. I think that's all the assembly that we need to do out here on the bench. Now we need to go back over to the Jeep. All right, our next step after we put those grommets in is to set the new airbox assembly down inside here. And it attaches with these 1.5 bolts here. Then our next part is to put our new air intake tube on. Now that that's all tightened up, we need to take this breather hose and remove it from the hard line. There we go. Once you get that off there, you want to flip it over. First installing a couple of these speed clips, as they call them, or speed clamps. There we go. Just get it oriented where it's not kinked and it's out of the way. Then just squeeze these clamps down. Now we're going to take the new clamps they gave us. Now we're going to take our new great big oversized filter. This thing is huge. Figure out how to even get this thing down in here. There we go. Slide it on there and tighten it down. Now the next thing we need to do is take our cover and our gasket, peel a little bit of the gasket off and start sticking it to the cover plate here. And then we'll be able to bolt the cover plate down. Now that we've got the gasket stuck on here, we can remove this protective cover, get our cover in position, and use our last 4 remaining button head bolts and washers and bolt it down. Now, the last thing we need to do is put our engine cover back on. Well, that's it for this episode of Project Dirty Willy. Hopefully this was enough information to help you out on installing the Airaid cold air intake for a Jeep JK with the 3.6. So if you're new to my channel, or if you came across this and you're not one of my subscribers, make sure to go into my channel and check out a couple other videos. I've got all kinds of different stuff in there. So if you find a video that you like, hit the like button. If you have something to say, leave it in the comments. And if you find a couple videos that you like, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.